I need to be successful. I can't go to China and do things half-ass. I need to be 100%, you know? This is a big sacrifice. I came from Vancouver. Vancouver is a city that so many Chinese people dream of, going from China to moving permanently to Vancouver, which was my situation, right? So I was making a big sacrifice, moving away from a quality of life that was exceptional, but this quality of life kept a certain numbness in my mind. And I really wanted to become an entrepreneur, going from a corporate manager to an entrepreneur. And pretty much I had to completely reinvent myself from wearing, a suit and tie to becoming the face of a brand such as Lululemon and only wearing Lululemon clothes.
This is Dino Delplesh, your high performance coach, and it's time to level up.
Blessed love and respect, champion. Now, today we'll be leveling up with Sir Adrien Thevenet. And just to tell you a bit about who Adrien is. Now, Adrien is a performance sports coach, and he's also the founder of RunForce and SportForce. He's also a running ambassador, having brands of the likes of Apple and Lululemon under his belt. There's other few, but we can leave that for later. You can go and check that out. As well as he has been a manager at JP Morgan for over 15 years. And now he's transitioned being a full-time entrepreneur here in Shanghai. And I'm interested for him to share his story with you. Welcome to the Level Up Show, Adrien.
Thank you, Dino. What a great presentation. I couldn't have done better. You know me better than I know myself. I'm very impressed. You should do all my introductions across Shanghai when I do workshops and stuff like that.
I'll definitely hold you to that one. What I'm really interested in is your journey, coming to China. I remember listening to a presentation you did, and you literally came here with nothing more or less, the backpack on and just, that drive for adventure. Like, how did that begin? How did that begin?
Well, I've always been a guy who's been very adventurous. Originally, I'm from France, and then I left Canada. I left France in 2005 with just a suitcase for Canada, and I moved there, and I managed to have a fairly successful life, and I was very happy. I joined the corporate world. As you said, I worked for JP Morgan. I started kind of as a sales rep and climbed the ladders, and ended up as a manager, marketing manager for JP Morgan, going from sales rep position. That was a nice move. But I think after a while, somebody that goes climbing the mountains and goes trekking in Nepal and trekking in Morocco and doing all that kind of crazy stuff. And I was having a sense of discontent through my job, as I felt it was too early to have kind of this 9-to-5 job. And living in Vancouver, there are a few entrepreneurs for sure, but it didn't have the energy I was looking for. And when I went on vacation to China in 2015, and I really fell in love with the country because of the people, because of the sense of adventure. That means you don't need to go on a crazy mountain in China to have a sense of adventure. You just go 300 kilometers away from Shanghai, and you're literally in an area where almost no one speaks English, where there's no stores you recognize. It's only local food. And I just love that sense of complete isolation. I've traveled in many countries in the world, but I've never felt such a sense of adventure by going in China. I love the fact that there is, it's not completely westernized. Like I've been to the Philippines, and I felt everywhere I recognize the same fast foods and stuff like that. But there, you really feel, China really feels like, for me, it really feels fresh. And when I left China in 2015, I knew this country would have something for me. And after, a nice successful career at JP Morgan and an acquisition that I don't think really was good for me so the department I was working for got acquired by another Canadian bank, and I didn't like kind of the acquisition. And after a year trying, and I realized I didn't like the job, I decided to quit. I think life is too short. I really felt that way, to stay in a job that you don't like. So I decided to quit. And at the point, since I was single and I didn't have any liabilities. I pretty much, and multiple passports too. I really felt that I owed it to so many people that want to have their own companies, that want to have an adventurous life. And to myself, I felt like, man, if you don't move to like an adventurous country like China, if you don't start your own business based on your passion, which is performance sports, like who will, who will start a business? If I had everything, I had capital, I had the freedom, I had the visas, I had no excuse to walk away from this. So I moved to China, literally again, kind of restarting what I did in Canada with almost no connections, just a lot of willpower, the will to work hard. And I started kind of giving, free advice on running and joining the communities, making myself a name, reaching out to brands, and it kind of picked up. And 2018 was, I know I arrived in August 2018, and 2019 things started to get really, really good. And then of course COVID hit. That was kind of a slowdown, but then afterwards picked myself back up. I found new opportunities, so I had to open a second brand, SportForce, which is more about coaching for private schools. And 2021 was a decent year. 2022, of course, with this lockdown, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. So we'll see what happens.
Wonderful. That's quite an adventure. Like your story itself says adventure. And I remember listening to you speak, and you said this, and I quote, "Moving forward takes a radical mind change." So and I know you've went through that change from, the usual corporate space to being an adventure, being an entrepreneur, and leading your own team. What did you mean when you said that? Moving forward takes a radical mind change. What do you mean by that?
So I think that if you really want to take the next step in your life, for me, it was more about, I need to be successful. I can't go to China and do things half-ass. I need to be 100%. This is a big sacrifice. I came from Vancouver. Vancouver is a city that so many Chinese people dream of, going from China to moving permanently to Vancouver, which was my situation, right? So I was making a big sacrifice, moving away from a quality of life that was exceptional, but this quality of life kept a certain numbness in my mind. And I really wanted to become an entrepreneur, going from a corporate manager to an entrepreneur. And pretty much I had to completely reinvent myself from wearing, a suit and tie to becoming the face of a brand such as Lululemon and only wearing Lululemon clothes, or doing community events, but also being comfortable with the idea that I'm not going to have a regular salary for a while. I'm not going to have a normal monthly income. I'm going to have to go through a lot of sacrifices. I mean, I used to work working for JP Morgan. I had like 5 or 6 weeks of vacation a year because I had so much seniority. And now, since I moved to China, I don't think I've probably taken 4 weeks of vacation since 2018. Lockdown is not a vacation, definitely not, especially with a 2-year-old. But it's, you have to change you have to change all your expectations in life. You have to change your standards. There's a lot of steps to change, and that's okay. And that's okay because when we're not in lockdown, I get excited, so much more excited to get to my office and start working with my customers and my clients and working on my own projects. When you come from a big corporate bank, every time you have a new project, 99% of your projects are going to get shut down. Well, we don't have the resources, or it's too risky, or this is not a priority, etc. When you work for yourself, like for example, you in this podcast, you had the idea, say, okay, I want to do a podcast. I want to start, this is my new method of promoting myself. You just do it. You don't have to go through all the red tape. You don't need to get approval from, upper management. You don't have to worry about what the shareholder thinks. And that's pretty amazing feeling. So that's exciting. And you really feel and now, thanks to the power of the internet, I'm creating a new website. I don't even need to invest that much money to create a quality product. I do need to invest a lot of time and hard work, but that's okay because, I don't have any shareholders. So 100% of my profits go back to myself or are reinvested in my baby, which is my company.
Yeah. I really love that. I love the fact that you shed light on both sides of the coin. Yeah, how the ups and the downs in both sides. So you actually give that clear picture. What I'm really curious about is, that stage or that journey of reinventing yourself. Yeah, which I find was quite powerful. What would you say was some of the major struggles you had to overcome going through that process of reinventing, Adrien?
I like that question. I'll tell you why, because I can really point a finger at the struggle. So I told you I quit my job. This is the kind of person I am. I quit my job the 31st of December. Well, my last day was the 31st of December, 2017. I was like, I'm that kind of guy. I really like to start fresh on a specific date. And if all the listeners, don't be that guy. The moment, just take action now. Don't delay on the 1st of May. If you're like, don't push things to tomorrow, do things today. Like, we need to realize there is no tomorrow. There is no yesterday. There's only the moment. Everything else is just theory, because you could be dead tomorrow, right? So I actually, on the 1st of Jan, 31st at night, I took a flight to New Zealand from Vancouver. And then I traveled for 3 months throughout New Zealand, doing a lot of running, what I love, being kind of a running bum, just with my backpack and taking buses and running the most beautiful places of New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
900 kilometers in 3 months. But I took a nice break in the middle. It was 10 days at Vipassana, which is a meditation retreat where you don't talk, you don't have your phone. You literally just meditate and eat and sleep. That's all you do. And you're not allowed to talk to anybody. You can't write. You can't do anything. Just meditate about 12 hours a day. And that really helped me. And that really made me that allowed me to move a lot mentally to the next phase of my life, because we never really take the time during the day. And I continue to meditate. I don't know, Dino, if you're a big fan of meditation, but meditation really, it really gives you that 5 or 10 or that 20 minutes or 30 minutes or however long you meditate to reflect on your day, on your week, on your month, and on your life. Because now with our phones, with social media, we're always trying to fill in that void in our head if we don't have somebody talking to us. It's like we're so uncomfortable with emptiness. We're so uncomfortable. We always have to fill in. So I'm not saying meditation in theory, you agree, you're trying to create the emptiness. But for me, and I'm probably not meditating properly, it's a moment of the day where I can really reflect, listen to my feelings, listen to my body, and listen to my mind. I try to create some mental emptiness to take a break from the day, but usually you're going to take some reflection. So this Vipassana thing allowed me to reflect on the past 12 years I had spent in Canada and what I wanted to do next. Because at the time, I didn't know I wanted to go to China. And I come back and I decide I want to go to China because I knew I loved this country. I knew there was so much potential in this country.
Blessed love and respect, champion. Now, this is your high performance coach here, and I want to thank you for showing up today. Not for me, but showing up for yourself. Because every episode of this show is designed to help you get one step closer in the direction of becoming an even higher performing leader. Living in and from your fullest potential in whatever you do, for those you love and for those that you serve. And we are here to help you every step of the way. Now, if you're listening to this show, I believe it's because you are ready to take your performance to another level. And that is why I've created this show as a program in my high performance leader coaching ecosystem to help you master these high performance habits with accountability, structure, and guidance from me as your coach. And it is free for you today as my listener. Join my high performance leader coaching ecosystem right now. Go to levelupwithdino.com. Again, go to levelupwithdino.com. deano.com. And Deano is spelled Deano. And if you're listening to this in China or you're watching an episode on YouTube, just click the link in the description below. And remember, it is time for you to level up.
But Dino, the day I decided to move to China, from the day I actually moved, there was about 3 months. And every day I woke up, I felt I had literally the weight of the world on my chest. I would look at the ceiling when I'd wake up and I was like, what the hell am I thinking? Like, this is going to be so hard. I'm not 21 anymore. Like, I'm just going to end up in this country. Am I going to end up on the street? What is this crazy idea? You know, no one in China. You've never even been a running coach for like private. Like, how is this going to happen? How is this going to work? You've never been an entrepreneur. And you know what? At the end, you just move forward, and if you work hard and if you're not too stupid, that means that you're taking proper actions. And to be honest, even if you're not the brightest, I don't think I'm the brightest person on earth, but there's definitely all the resources in the world. Like, I'm sure you put out a lot of content for entrepreneurs totally free. And if you follow a few successful entrepreneurs, and I would listen to a lot of podcasts, and, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, the formula is not that hard. It's a pretty simple formula. Like, give out a lot of, you know, help people, be good to people, create yourself value, prove people that you're an expert, you know, kind of that seminar that I did for you on earlier this year. And it'll work out. It actually will work out. Now, you do face major headwinds sometimes, like right now, where pretty much running is becoming illegal in China for a few months or a few weeks. Yeah. And you know, a third of my revenue comes from hiring coaches and sending them to schools, and the schools are all closed right now, so that's also a difficult time. But I also believe that, like I said, if you work hard, you don't give up, and you're kind of humble by listening to other people, what they have to say, you'll eventually be successful. Especially, you know, China is a country full of potential, and people are more than willing to try out new things. So it's a great country for this.
Yeah, wonderful. I really love the journey you took when you answered that question. You know, and that feeling of the weight being on your chest, I totally can relate with that feeling, and really, you know, thinking, oh, when this happen, I'll do this. Do it now. Yeah, I love that message and the way it stood out. And also, you know, that taking that time to meditate and really be with that void, because I believe that's where all the answers lie. You know, we usually hear these spiritual practice or philosophies would say, oh, all the answers are within, but where specifically?
That's so true.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, it's in your body, it's in your beating of your heart, it's in your thoughts. But we just gotta get quiet enough to find it. And also, you said something that really jumped out at me. I'm so big on neurolinguistic program. You said, if you're not being stupid, things would work out. Yeah, so who you're being is really important as well. If right now you're trash, if right now you know you're trash, your friends think you're trash, people think you're trash, you need to start being somebody else. So I want to lead on with this question. What did you learn by overcoming, you know, that challenge?
The challenge of moving to China, or which? There's been so many challenges since I've left my whole life has been full of challenges, but I think I would have killed myself if I've never had a challenge in life. So which challenge in particular, Dino, are you talking about? Like the move to China or COVID or?
Well, most definitely the moving to China challenge, that challenge, when you had to just move instead of prolonging that time.
Yeah. How did I overcome that challenge? Is that your question?
The question is, what have you learned?
What have I learned?
Yeah.
I think, my whole thing, it's not only China. I think it's just the entrepreneur life. You got to remember, I went from literally somebody who would get a nice paycheck every third of the month into my checking account, and I knew exactly how much I would make to the penny, to like having. But what I've learned with this challenge is actually, things do work out. Things really do work out if you put in the hard work, and there's really no secret. There is no magic formula or whatever. You do have to follow some rules, especially if you're like a self-employed entrepreneur. Make sure you pay your taxes properly, make sure you get the necessary help, and make sure, but you just got to work hard. You really, there is no content for your social media that's going to be created magically. There is, reposting other people's stuff is not going to work for you. You have to really be creative, and don't always think about what value you can bring to others. Like, the biggest thing is people will give you money if you can bring them value. And nobody owes you anything. So it's really important to work hard and listen to your clients and your customers and your community to provide something that they feel has some value and can change their lives. People will pay anything, to be honest. If you think you're worth $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 a month for your service, if you really believe in that, then charge that. That's not a problem. But if somebody is paying you that, then that's what you're worth, because they feel that you're giving them something for $600 a month.
I totally resonate with that piece. People would pay you for the value that you bring, and if you really do believe that this is how much you value, excuse me, this is how much people would pay you for your value. I remember when I started in the fitness space, I was so afraid of charging for my services, and I charged $97 for 3 months of coaching initially, and still I thought that was a lot.
That's a great deal.
Yeah. Yeah. But luckily I was working with a coach, and he really put my eyes in the right direction. And as time goes by, I realized that, but wait, let me try and charge more. Then I start charging $297 for my program, and I realized people still paying. Then I got a bit more courage, and I start charging $597 for my program, till I start charging up to $997 for my coaching program. And that's when I start to realize that the number doesn't matter, it's how much belief you have in oneself. Let me ask you this question, Adrien. Let's say we had a time machine, and we can step into that time machine and send you back just before you were leaving, thinking about leaving JP Morgan. What would you tell yourself if you only had 30 seconds?
Invest in Tesla.
And what would you have done differently?
What I could have done differently?
Yeah.
I really I respect your question, but I'll be honest with you, Dino. Like, it's things were so good prior to COVID. Things were so good prior to COVID, and it's hard to say. Like, I think, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, social, I really, for the Chinese social media, you have to be in China to understand it. I think at the time, maybe I would have left earlier. I think I would have quit earlier. That's what I would have done. I think I would have quit much earlier and moved to China much earlier. I remember, I'm a fan of putting lists together and ideas. And I remember I found recently an Excel spreadsheet I did in 2015, probably a few months after leaving China, and, giving myself multiple options. Continue with JP Morgan. I remember moving to China was one of them. maybe, multiple different options. And I wish I would have left for China, 2 years earlier versus, first of all, I could have built my business faster, less issues with COVID, but, COVID is such a weird thing in the history of our careers and lives. But yeah, I think I would have left earlier. That's definitely, I think, having like the years building the business was so much better prior to COVID. Now it's slower and all the races have been canceled. So it's a tougher gig.
Yeah. They said that the best time to start was 20 years ago, and the second best time to start is now. That's what literally came to my mind when you said that. And
although I wouldn't recommend anybody to move to China right now. Maybe in 6 months or a year.
Take note. We're in 2022, the 27th of April. And let me ask you this. What is a question that I haven't asked that you think every individual who's considering, taking that step into entrepreneurship needs to know the answer to?
Have a lot of cash. Yeah, have a lot of cash. You need cash. Don't be naive. You're gonna have you need to, things are not gonna go fast. It's gonna be slow. It's really gonna be slow. So make sure you have plenty of cash. Make sure you have capital. You need to hire people, to do things you can't do. Be humble about it. If you've never done a website, don't think you're going to do a great website for free. You can try, but you're going to need to take pictures. You're going to nothing's for free. Don't think you can start a business for free. That's not true. If you have a family, triple that amount of cash that you have, and you don't be naive. There's bad weather days. That there's going to be tough phases. The other thing is make sure you create a system that brings constant revenue. I remember when I started my business, I had only a few regular athletes, and I was really relying a big part of my revenue on events, on camps and stuff like that. And that's not a sustainable business. A sustainable business is guaranteed revenue that you have monthly. So a lot of people, who sell products, they know they're going to have this many products sold on a monthly basis on average, with some, more or less 10% variation, even less variation. That's even better. But you want to have some kind of you want to have regular clients that guarantee your revenue. Otherwise, your business is going to fail. I don't know, working in the event industry, I really admire people, but even in the event industry, these people have recurring contracts. So every year, for example, for me, every year I'm going to manage the camp for specific races. So, that's been a guaranteed revenue every December for me since 2018. So, but at least that's recurring, same thing. So yeah, focus on subscription, recurring revenues. I'm sure with your business model, I'm sure that it's important that you have a recurring revenue model, and that with your business, that every month you're going to get a minimum amount of money. Otherwise, you're gonna fail. And unfortunately, things like COVID or crisis or whatever happens, you might end up with very little revenue, and that's where your capital comes in to support your business and your life, your financial needs during these times. But if you have no capital today, make sure you put some money aside before launching your business.
Yeah, most definitely. And let me ask you this one final question. Aside from, say, capital and revenue, what are other resources and tools that makes life much more easier for you?
My living in Shanghai, my IE, taking care of my son so I can work. So now it's funny because, sending my kid, my office. I love my office. It's such a great place it's a shared space. You've been there, remember?
Yeah.
It's a great place to network, to bounce ideas on people, especially me as a foreigner in China. I like to talk to my Chinese, colleagues and ask them what they think about these ideas. That's a great resource. I just launched my mini program. That's another great resource I hope will help develop my business. These are the things that make business in China so much better. But I am a minimalist. I like to keep things simple and focus on the hard work. I don't like to get in the hype of the gadgets or acquiring too much stuff because I think that creates a lot of noise. And focusing just on the hard work and what you can bring to people, that's what's going to make your business successful.
Amazing. And where can these people get in touch with Adrien and RunForce if they'd like to learn more about your work and what you're up to at the moment?
Yeah, they can follow us on our WeChat official account. We just got the blue ticker, so we're pretty excited about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, just our official RunForce account, and then there'll be the mini program is there. They can find out about all our services and just be in touch. They can add me through the mini program as their contact, and I'll be happy to share whatever I have to share with them.
Awesome. That's Adrien Thevenet for you. I just want to say thank you and appreciate you showing up for this episode. With everything that is going on in the city today, things has been quite wild, but we shall rise. Yeah, thank you, Adrien.
Blessed love and respect, champion. Now, this is your high performance coach here, and I want to thank you for showing up today. Not for me, but showing up for yourself. Because every episode of this show is designed to help you get one step closer in the direction of becoming an even higher performing leader. Living in and from your fullest potential in whatever you do, for those you love and for those that you serve. And we are here to help you every step of the way. Now, if you're listening to this show, I believe it's because you are ready to take your performance to another level. And that is why I've created this show as a program in my high performance leader coaching ecosystem to help you master these high performance habits with accountability, structure, and guidance from me as your coach. And it is free for you today as my listener. Join my high performance leader coaching ecosystem right now. Go to levelupwithdino.com. Again, go to levelupwithdino.com. And Dino is spelled D-E-A-N-O. And if you're listening to this in China or you're watching an episode on YouTube, just click the link in the description below. And remember, it is time for you to level up.